those principles, but with slightly different board setups. It sounds really fun and interesting. So I'm on board with that. I hope that's the gist we were getting there. Oh, nice. You're a chess teacher too. Well, excellent, man. Welcome and to the stream, and thanks for hanging out.
All right.
Are you back, Tiberian? I heard something. Are you here?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
We can hear you now.
Oh,
Excellent.
I see your picture's back. All right. Oh, we're back. So sorry about that. I was going to invite, let's see, Flavio. I was going to send you an invite for Discord. I'll have to do it in a little bit. So what I want you to do, and I'll do that while you're playing, hopefully, MA. So as in our lessons, I'd like you to go play a game now. And I want you to still do every one of the principles we've worked on. I want you to find a game where you have white. Feel free to do it any way you want because you'll be commentating on your moves and we'll be listening. You, as normal, will mute my mic, or I'll mute my mic from Discord, so you won't hear me giving you my thoughts. And I want you to try a D4 game. And no Queen's Gambit, even though it was a great TV show, no Queen's Gambit because that would not be a center pawn. So feel free to play anything else. Common way to play it is if we go all the way back, just to give you a little hint, if you play D4 and they play D5 back, you can even play the bishop here, get your knight out, get the pawn out, right? And that way your bishop's on the outside of your pawn chain. Just be aware, one of the reasons that a D4 opening is going to feel different is because most E4 openings, your pawns point to the king side. And so you end up with a king side attack. But with D4, a lot of the times your pawns are pointing to the queen side. And so you naturally should be trying to do a queen side attack.
I remember you telling me about that, which way they're pointing.
Yep. All right. So give it a shot. I'm going to go follow you.
A new viewer on he's way stronger than.
Yeah, you probably want to find somebody around your rating. It's just would make more sense for you to start. But you already got a game started, so let's go watch it. All right, Flavio, I will.
Okay.
While we're doing this now, watching him play. Oh, I need to mute.
But I'm still inclined to.
There you go, Flavio. I will take a way to get. I will try to invite you. I take it. Is your name the same on Discord as it is what I'm looking at right here?
Actually, want to castle queenside if you develop with your D4 pawn. I guess you can't answer me right now, but I'm just going to keep talking. So I'm not going to take help from him right now. I'm much stronger than I am. Player. We're developing pieces.
I need your number along with it. It says to add you as a friend, Flavio. So, let's see. How do I invite people to... I give them an invite somewhere. I am sure. And I'm still learning Discord myself to be fully disclosed. I don't do Discord very often, but it's becoming very useful for trying to do these co-streams.
Oh, and there's no increment in this game either, huh? So I'm automatically in trouble. Let's see.
Oh, thank you, Flavio. That'll do it.
Give you someone I should catch.
Because that's the only other thing it wanted was that pound sign and the numbers after.
That's still going to happen.
You might end up with a lot of friends, by the way, since you put that out there.
That basically leaves his pawns free to push towards my king.
Minor problems if you don't spell it right.
Sack this, right?
Send you a friend request, Flavio. We should be good to go. If you get me that link, I can post it.
Just to open up the king. Take. I'm guessing I can get this pawn back at
game he's playing.
Some point. I can take here forward.
Hopefully it's just back that bishop up and protect it.
I like this square a lot. That square is looking pretty good, especially since it's only protected by... I'm considering taking there, I'd
So we'll
like him
see.
to force him to take back here. I don't know. I'm thinking too much,
Capitalization matters, Flavio. I'm on it. Didn't quite get that out to
which
you yet.
keeps.
Okay, failed again. Let's see. Flavio. Capital S. Oh, so many capitals, Flavio. You're making it tough on me. Salsa. Salsa. Okay, no PT. I just totally messed that up, by the way. 3894. All right. Finally, friend
Def-
request now
Completely getting the
successfully
queen
sent,
out of the
Flavio.
way.
Sorry, my
I
bad.
feel like I can do another. That's an idea we can do.
And let's see
We're gonna
how
work
he
on
is
take.
doing.
You can just take back. I can come out here,
So he has
and he
many
just pushes
choices in this
forward. Keeps
situation.
running
Move the
off. My
bishop
white
back
light square
anywhere he
bishop is
wants.
basically out of the game at that point,
By the way,
which I don't love.
he could just attack the queen twice,
Um,
right? Because the knight is pinned. So he could just attack the
I
queen. I
don't
wonder if
love
you'll see
it.
that. Be aggressive. Nope, he didn't see it. So he
Yeah,
had the
I'm just gonna
knight
bring it back
pinned.
here.
He
I
could have
want to be
brought
able to
his
protect
knight
or
up to the
attack this
center.
square.
Nice
That seems
place
like a
for it.
vulnerable square. That was a waste of a move.
And threaten the queen again
And this was
and see where the queen wants to go
probably a waste
to.
of a move.
And that would have been
But I'm not ready to
very
just
interesting.
go sack, right? Because once again, the queen can just take.
Just drop the bishop back
Wasn't
now.
the
We'll see.
case at
What's
the moment.
interesting is I think there's a lag on
Let's see if
the
I
stream
come here. I
of
have
these rooms,
one,
but since we're looking at it through Lichess,
two
I don't
on
think
it.
we
He's
have a
got
lag.
one, two fenders
Yeah, it was harder to cut, I think. I got it right
developed.
now, Flavio. It's on its way. Yeah, Flavio, I see
Got a
you
nice little
there.
fork there.
And
If I
so
had
I'm
just
on.
traded that
Yep.
off, I'd have a nice little fork
Thank you
there.
very much. Get puzzles. Nice. All right. I'm trusting you. I'm just going to put this in because our viewers are very trustworthy and positive thinkers. Positive thinkers, positive
Um,
attitude, positive
let's think
behaviors.
here.
Kind of like our viewers. Going to stick this
I'm
in
already
there.
running so low on time. So low, so low. Let me think. Let me try to think.
And from Flavio, there's how you could tell which puzzles were being created from your games on Lichess.
A bit slow when it comes to
Let me guys know if that works for you.
I'm not sure. Take. Da-dum.
So, what's the threat here, modern ancient? Watch out for the fork. Watch out for the double attack.
Uh,
Okay, good. He sees it and sidesteps it by trading off. I still would have loved to seen that bishop come back a long time ago and chase that queen away. Whoa! Why didn't we take back, I wonder? Why would we not take back? Well, I think we would have been up material. Yeah, would have been equal material. Now we just gave up another piece. So I don't understand why we didn't take. Totally confused about why
I'm in big trouble. I don't even realize.
our student did not take.
That's
It was just an
annoying.
exchange situation, right? They take, you take. You got to take back or realize you're losing material.
Pawn back. If I take,
And I see he's got a lot of
take,
time.
take,
He was talking about being low on time, but he's high on.
possibly.
Whoa, no. Modern
No, I
Ancient
lose a
is
queen.
falling apart here a little bit.
That's not how you win a pawn back. That's how you lose a queen.
And I think it's
Okay. Well, is
partly
there any
because
point
his
in
opponent
continuing
was
now?
higher rating, and I think Black has been giving White time.
Oh man,
Good
that
job.
that was
Good job,
a
Everaldo
take back. No, you don't have to give me.
Valhalla. Yeah, good job. Thank you for giving him time back. And you offered him a take back even. And I've already
Nope.
taught my students
It's a
you
casual
never do
game, but
take backs.
I gotta learn how to sack my queen for no reason.
Yep.
That's just on me.
Take backs just get you bad habits. So I always tell them don't offer them, don't
I
take
can
them, don't
take back
accept them,
and
don't
double
ask
my
for
pawns
them.
in the center. This is
So
just
I'm
hanging. Why
very
didn't he just
proud
take
of
that? Oh
Modern
no, it's not
Ancient
hanging. It's protected.
not taking the offered take back.
Oh
Time
yeah,
on the clock
yeah. I've made a mess of it.
when you're trying to talk through the game, I understand, but
I don't know if there's much
time is
value
money,
left.
but it shouldn't be take backs. So a lot to learn from this game. Just some mistakes. A little rusty. He hasn't played chess that I know of since last Thursday. That's what he gets for shooting zombies in whatever
Oops.
game he was
What
playing
can I
the other night. He's
say?
got to make sure he's got his
That
chess
was an
acumen
oops.
up to
This is
speed.
just available. I'm just in a lot of trouble. This is free. He's just walking this pawn down. Yikes! Yeah,
Need to get that
I just need
pawn
to
off the
get better
board.
about taking my time.
And we'll throw this game into a study that we're
I don't know.
using,
I mean, I'm so out of this game already,
and then we can
and
go
I
ahead
could
and
tell
go
when I
into game
started the
again.
game.
But it was minor. This was free candy. This is what I've preached from day one. If you find yourself giving away free candy, you're
Game
going to lose games. So it's hard to win when you're
was
giving away
there's
free candy.
no value in this game for you or for me.
So let me unmute on Discord so he can hear me.
GG's, man.
I'll
Good
try not
game.
to laugh out loud. No, I'm not
That was
laughing.
not the way I was. No point in
No worries,
playing that
man.
out. I have
That
no
was a free
options.
candy warm up.
Yeah,
Just free candy warm
yeah,
up. That's all it is. Just a free candy warm up. Go ahead and give yourself.
yeah.
I would try one more game.
Take time. Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right, everyone. I do need to take my time. Um, and that's not just for this game. That's something that I'm working on in general. Is just being more patient with my time. The problem is my duality with taking time is when I actually take my time to make the moves, I make better moves in general. But then again, anybody that's been around the stream has seen me lose a bunch of games where I'm way ahead in position and material, but just have no time left on the clock. So I'm still just trying to find the balance between taking enough time to make the right moves and not taking so much time that the game is essentially worth nothing in the end because I lose on time. So still trying to find that balance. But GG's, man. Well played on your part, obviously. Crushing me. I'm down for, yeah, let's do another one.
Can you hear me, MA?
Let's do another one.
MA, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All
Yes,
right.
Tiberian.
So let that
Yep.
one just
Hey, what's up, Muad? Good to
brush
see you
that one
back.
off. That was a free candy debacle, right? That was just you gave away too much free candy. Don't let it bother you. Don't let it
Yeah.
bother you. Let's get back to focus. Develop, develop, develop. Look for tactics. And you had some opportunities. Remember, there was a point where you had his knight pinned to his queen. He chased you with a pawn, and you could have moved your knight to e5, threatening the queen and the knight, and he couldn't take your knight because he would have dropped his queen, and he couldn't take your bishop because he would have dropped his queen. So keep being aggressive and looking for those tactical
Oh, yeah, look at that. I see it there.
Okay, good. Keep looking for those tactical opportunities.
Yeah, so just like in the lesson right before, I created a pin and then didn't take advantage of it.
Exactly.
I need to take advantage of my pins.
Exactly. And then a minor problem when you took the pawn with your knight later.
Yeah, Averell, you're right. I do play fast.
You got it. Let's try again. Let's do another
I do
D4.
play fast when I see my opponent playing fast. So that's another very good reminder and good insight to play my own.
And I thought that was kind of your opponent to give you time back, but yeah, no takebacks. I was very proud that you said, nope, I'm going to play without a take back because that way I learn. You going to play another one there,
Hasn't worked out that way. But
MA, you going to play another one?
yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep, you're going to play another one?
Let's play another one. Who would like to play?
There you go. Find an opponent, and we'll follow again.
Or I'll play against you again. Aviral, if you'd like to play again. It's totally up to you. I'm not sure what you're getting playing against. Again, I'm like...
It's okay, he's helping you out.
To play.
All right, I'm going to mute MA. Good luck.
White again, so if you don't mind, we'll just do another like same exact challenge so I can practice my D4 open, if you don't mind. And we'll hop back in. That's not flip board. I'm just going to click your name. Click send challenge. It'll give me white. Okay, I'll wait. You're sending it to me. I'll just wait.
All right, we will see
I'm
MA
still
play
pretty
another
slow with
game. And
navigating
as you
Lichess
know,
in
I've
general.
muted myself from his stream, so no backseat driving. And
No way, Chris.
as long as you guys don't want to do
You're
backseat driving.
stronger than me, man. I don't care what your ratings. You
And today is Chris's birthday, so even if he's not stronger,
crazy.
he should win just because it's his birthday. He's got to get the props for the birthday.
Oh no! Take it. Dang it! I did the wrong move.
Ah,
Can we start over? Can we start over?
what are you doing to
I'm
me?
so sorry. I'm supposed to play this opening. I'm so used to just doing this one. We can't do a rematch because of that, and then that gives you.
He'll get another game
I
with
want to
white.
play
By
as
the way,
white,
at 3
casual,
o'clock, I'm
five
doing
second
another
increment.
one-on-one lesson with another student. And so
Cannot
hopefully
challenge due to
that'll
provisional rapid
stream
rating.
fine.
What are you talking
He's
about?
a old friend of mine, but a
Yes,
young
I
man,
can. We
and
just did
he's trying to
this.
get into chess. And so we'll be
What?
doing a new lesson, totally different kind of
All right.
look and feel, because he'll
No
have different
challenges.
experiences and background already.
Okay.
So
Let's go back,
we'll see
I
how that one
guess.
goes. All right, they should be starting a new game, hopefully. There we go. All right.
Sorry,
And
guys. I'm still
what
figuring
time
this out. All
we're
right.
starting off
Put the
with a
board back on the
10.5.
screen. Let's play D4.
And we'll see how
Thank you,
MA
everyone.
does.
I know you're brand new, man, but you're
All right, so his
super
opponent plays
cool
the
and
Dutch,
patient and,
which should be okay.
willing to just help us
If he
out while
just
we have the
follows the
lesson. So thank
principles,
you,
he should
man.
be fine.
Appreciate you. Right off the bat.
Follow the principles, MA. Come on, you could do it. Follow the principles. Yes, you could see it on
He's played what looks like
you
it
put in
would be
his
a
username, which is
Sicilian type thing if I had played E4 and this was over
Capitalization
here,
does
right?
not matter. So if you just do that, and then you can click the TV set, and you
Well, I
can
guess
watch
we'll
his game. And yes, you would
do a
not see
night play
lag.
catch up.
I'm actually showing his game directly, so it's also it shouldn't be as much
Teacher,
lag on
man,
mine. But mine might have a little lag between his move and the show also. But no backseat driving, guys.
hanging out that are here to play and willing to learn and teach, and that's why we're here.
So far, so good.
Is that right though? Is it
He just needs to keep
basically like a
playing the same
Sicilian
moves.
that's just when with the queen pawn opening instead of the king pawn?
Ah,
Same kind of concept though.
there's his name on Lichess. It's the same as streaming. And then you
I want
can
to move
just
this knight. I want to move. Yeah, I guess
the
I'll just move a
TV
knight.
set
It's
to
the
watch
next
him
piece
play.
I can develop immediately. Tiberian says we're in a race to develop our pieces. So I will just try to continue to develop, I guess. I don't know what is going on here. This thing I've never seen before. Okay. I am going to just continue to develop. I can put my bishop here, I guess, because I know the king is about to end up in that square, right? So we get a preemptive pin, perhaps?
And his opponent quickly closes up the position with a stone wall configuration.
No, not at all.
Fine.
Okay,
And
fine.
now this is the weak square. Now we haven't talked about weak squares.
That was not a good move because
we have
he just did that.
talked about weak squares. That's
I come up, he just takes,
at a later lesson. I like to teach
and I'm
one
in trouble.
concept at a time.
I can
instead
bring
of
my
throwing too many
knight
things
up
at you.
here.
So I don't know if he'll notice that weak square.
I kind of
or
like
not.
bringing my knight up there.
Hopefully
When
he'll
all they
just
just
castle, because there's no reason
it's
for
not a
him
fork
to
because this is
do
protecting it.
anything else prematurely. He can just castle, and bringing up his queen is okay.
Start
It gives him a
putting the
chance
queen
to castle
forward, getting the queen and the
queenside if he
bishop on
chooses
this
to.
line. So if I do step up, right? I feel like that's something we can do.
And from a black's point of view, this pawn really should have been here for a stone wall.
Oh, sorry, got a little distracted there.
Would have been nice. Some people will even play it here.
Okay, where is this going? I think I'm just gonna
Be a
castle
mistake. It definitely can be less.
and
Now
then
we're getting
find
played
a
on
way
the
to
queen
safely
side,
push this
which is
forward,
interesting.
maybe.
Pawns are pointing to the queen side, so it does look like that's where you should attack. So it could. But
I have no idea what's going on.
Is not as safe. He has moved pawns.
So unfamiliar.
So white now can get aggressive. I like the pin, but I also like even just
I
starting to
can get
shove
a
this pawn and clear
pin,
the way. Now that he's castled over
but
here,
then
though,
he just
maybe the
steps
black's
forward right
exciting.
there
If the rook were
to
still
mess it up.
here, we could try to clear that. That would have been
No, he
pretty
doesn't.
exciting. Of course, we can
No,
push,
because if he steps
and
forward
we
here,
get
I can just
trapped over
take
here,
it.
so
I
he's
get a
got to be
free pawn,
careful.
right?
He
Take
could
back.
lose the
No,
bishop.
it's not ready
Might
yet.
lose the
Dang
bishop for
it.
getting a
That
wide
was a
open
bad
king to
move.
attack. So it's got
I thought
some
I had
play both
this
ways.
diagonal opened already.
Yep. And so he has to be a little bit careful, but actually
Yeah,
he
no, you're
can't.
right. I just need to.
He's
I
not
just
even going
need
to get the
to.
bishop trapped.
Uh,
Next pawn, this pawn can't go. He'll have the bishop, the
I shouldn't say that
queen.
I don't like it.
He'll
Right?
have
It's my
enough
first or
pieces
second
attacking it. So this is
honest
actually
attempt.
theoretically right, principled. This is bad.
Um, this
Okay,
is
I
where
should
I've
put his
what I've done
mic
in the
lower.
past. I just kind of step back. That doesn't really help me because you just step
Okay,
forward.
no, thank you. That's great input. I tried to lower his mic.
I
Let me
don't
see
know. I
if I
think I
can lower
still
it on
have to
Discord.
though. These
I'm going to deafen him. How's that? Now you can't even hear him at all, which isn't what we really wanted. I wanted to try to lower his mic. So I'm going to see if I can do that in user settings. Again, I'm new to Discord, so I'm not sure how to do that at the moment. And I don't see anything simple to do that with. Not under settings, anyway. So that's totally deafening him. And I could deafen him when I talk and then undeafen him when he talks. So let's listen in.
we've broken the pin, so knight is no longer pinned to the queen. I Yes, so much. Right, take. Yeah, that's no good. All right. This is where I feel like right now I'm missing something. There's a tactic right here, isn't there? Move 11. There's something right here.
I'll agree with him. I'd be pushing that
I
bishop
don't
back
know
to
that
g3,
to be true, but I
attacking the
feel
queen. It's not really a tactic. It's just a good place for the bishop, opening up the queen, and then later on seeing if we can open up the position. There might be opportunities to do pawn breaks of his own. He could replace the knight in a better square. So he could bring his knight here and then back up to here, possibly, for attacks. But starting with, I'd probably just bring the bishop back and chase the queen and see where the queen wants to go. There he goes. Nice move. Let's see what he has to say about this change of situation. So what do
point
you
in the
mean by
future.
lower? Oh, I'll have to
Now we got
mute him first.
right. And then we just did this last time, right? Can I come here, threaten the queen again? Takes back. Takes. No, that's not really great, is it? That's not really great. Let me think.
So
Take
Flavio, what do you mean by lower your streaming software?
some.
I'm always looking for help too. Always learning about streaming, learning about chess, learning about Discord. So yeah, if you have some inputs on streaming software, let me know. Right now, I use Twitch Studio, and we're trying to use Discord to do our co-streaming because neither one of us is a partner, so we can't use the software that comes with Twitch for it. So we're trying to find ways to work around it. All right, so he did go with the knight, which was a problem because that put two of his pieces in pre at the same time. So the knight was bad because he allowed the
A
knight to
queen,
take.
but
Now, if he
double
had taken with the pawn, he'd be attacking the
my
knight with the
pawns. But I
pawn.
could have taken with
That
the
would have been
pawn because then that's
okay.
actually threatening this
His opponent misses
as it
this. So
even,
he
right?
should just take here as fast as he can. He should just take that bishop and run. His opponent should have just taken this bishop
Okay.
free candy, but he missed it. Should take here now.
This is also square if he manages to get his queen back on threat. Looks like I can just take this off and bring the, which gives me enough time to get that out of there so we can trade, I guess. This thing is completely out of the game. I got to find a way to get it in, but
Good job. Now he's threatening mate.
mate. So we're going to block that diagonal. We're going to also not get back rank checkmated with that same move, so that's all right. Seems reasonable. And he's pulling that back up there. Now I'd like to get my rook involved in the game so we can maybe actually get some center opened up a bit here. Threatening my queen. We can take back and double his pawns. That seems fine.
Yep, Flavio, it's Twitch Studio is what I'm using. And so I do have a mute stream. I have a where I can see where I could mute my primary microphone, but I don't see a control. It doesn't mean they're not there. I just, again, I'm relatively new to streaming. I've been doing it for about a month and a half. So trying to learn the platform, mostly because it's an opportunity to teach. I have students that I teach chess lessons to via Zoom. 3 days a week we teach. I have over 21 students, and one of them said, "You should get on this Twitch thing and stream." And I checked it out, and I thought, yeah, this is a pretty neat way to build opportunities to stream to more students. So that's really the only reason I tried it out. I'm here and I'm enjoying it though, loving it. Plan on doing it more. So yeah, any help, always happy for help. Let's listen back in.
Maybe that's the way we can break through his pawns somehow. It's not free move. Here. Well, so far we've given away less free candy, right? Than the last game. So far, that's an improvement. Okay.
So love to see him
Is he
trade
going to
that
take this, or
pawn.
is he going to push
Again, I
forward
think that
if
was a
I
mistake. His
don't?
opponent could have easily piled up on the white square, and the white squares are weak,
I think we can
and
just
he has a white bishop to use. So
trade
looking at the
pawns there.
queen, he should have been able to orchestrate a pretty decent checkmate if he
It
had
can't
just
be. It can't
left
be
his queen
horrible,
way over there on the
right?
side.
And then
This queen is ill placed. The bishop is out of the game, but now he's not putting his queen into the best squares to play either. So now white should be trying to trade off those queens. And look at that, can force a trade of queens. Even though he doubles up pawns, he's going to be better off. Ah, look at the
like
pawn move. Now your queen is stuck here forever.
square queen
Ah, he had such a nice opportunity to force a queen
is
trade,
way.
double attack. And that queen trade would have said, ha, now that we've gotten a queen trade, I'm out of dodge. And so now we see the threat. And by the way, the rook is
Okay.
trapped. But so that's
Oh
just
dang!
lost. He doesn't have to worry about that. He can't do anything about that.
I lost.
We'll deafen him for the moment, so we're not talking on top of each other. So this rook now is just trapped, but it is what it is, and he can't do anything about it. He's got to press on. Taking the pawn doesn't do him any good. He just takes back, and his queen still needs to come here to try to trade off the queens, and that's probably what he needs to do primarily, is see if he can trade the queens. And this move is, it does what it's supposed to do, which is he's going to have to take first probably. And then he'll be down the exchange, but he's still in the game. Definitely still in the game. He decided to take with the pawn. He's still going to get chased. This move will still chase him. And so now he still has to move here anyway. The only difference is the rook gets an inroad, but not, not too many places to go. This pawn is looking weak. We gotta do this though, right? There's no other way to save the queen. So he's gonna find that move. I feel confident he's gonna find that move. He has no other move. And again, if Black's queen had stayed so he could get onto this diagonal, he could be sitting here, threatening to come here next and win the game pretty easily. Okay, this does not work. The rook gets to take you. Needed to go to this square. So you picked the wrong square. Queen here, trade, double pawns, yes. But this allows the rook to take. So that's just going to hurt. It's going to be very painful. Yeah, I agree. Streamlabs has more control. It's just you kind of like get what you're used to and what you're working with. I can try Streamlabs. I've also I actually started with OBS. Is what I started with my first time ever. Yep. Yeah, I will, Flavio. Thank you for the advice. I will definitely go back and try maybe OBS again. It seemed really complicated at the time, but now that I've been streaming for a while, I think I understand this. I can understand the software a whole lot better. I don't know if it hopefully will be more consistent and solid. And definitely, I can always come back to Twitch Studio if they improve it. I truly do not know if my issues sometimes are with Twitch Studio or if the issues are with my own software. So, or with my own hardware. So, missed what happened in that move, but it wasn't good, I'm sure. So the queen moved down, moved away, and again he could have just saved his queen, right? Could have just kept his queen. In fact, I would have loved to see the queen come here, to at least, right, keep the queen out of here and here, and yeah, I think queen here would have been a very good move for white. Would have forced the king back or forced the rook up. And if the rook gets forced up, then he can see about coming over here, double attacking. He's going to want to trade. He's got options. He also had this pawn. So this double attack check and the pawn looks really good. The queen comes back, he would have traded queens. So I think he had a lot of options. He just missed some of them. And that's okay. He's a beginner. His rating is only right now it's 1253 with a question mark, but we know he's around 1071. So yeah, missing that move makes sense, and it's something that he can look for later and find in other situations. So now we see what we were worried about, right? This is going to be coming. Yep, and then that's going to be a forced mate. Let's go back and listen in. Still finding ways to fight. Gotta appreciate a fighting spirit.
It's not amazing, but I can prevent mate.
Gotta appreciate a fighting spirit. Found a way, gave away the bishop, stopped the mate. Nice job.
For the moment, we can prevent mate and also maybe not sack the rook. First defense.
So you saw me, Fabio. I did download Streamlabs to try out the widgets, but again, it's a new one. While I've already used OBS, so I'll probably try the OBS and just see. I'd be ecstatic if it had better consistency with everything. Then knowing it was just a software, I'd be very happy. All right, not a bad game. Not a bad game at all. Had some chances there at the end.
So, nice job, man.
Time back in with them.
Thank you for that.
Not bad. Not bad.
Yeah, thank you for the games.
Not bad.
Thank you for the games.
You were in that game multiple times, MA. Your opponent.
All right, Tiberian.
Mistakes. He had better.
Hey, thanks for following.
Play also, so you know.
All right, let me have it. I can take it.
You shouldn't underrate yourself. You had opportunities, and I think you played with them pretty well. In fact, remember we could take this to an analysis board, and then you could put it into the study. So I will see if Mike. Well, you could do it, right? You know how now. Go ahead.
Let's
and
do
that in your analysis board and go throw it in your study. and then I can meet you in your study and we could take a look at it. How about that? That game was much better than the other game. You had chances. I think you were in the game the whole way, and you played by the principles much better.
Yeah, good game. Good games. Thank you for the games and thanks for the follow, real.
So, what do you think about what do you think about the twist of playing it when you're playing a D4 opening? Doesn't it feel a lot different?
A lot of a lot of the ideas look similar, but because they're like mirrored, um, I definitely had to like second guess myself a couple of times because my instinct is still to develop the pieces that are on my king side, but the pieces that are more readily available to develop are on my queen side. So it feels a little counterintuitive, to be honest.
Exactly. Very good. So moving the D pawn releases this bishop before this bishop.
Yeah, like
So he played the Dutch, and you're playing fine. As long as you're developing, you're doing fine. And you did great. I think you did a fine job of developing. And this move is probably the first move I'd say I would probably coach against, only because, not because it's not a developing move. It is a developing move. But we've talked about not encouraging our opponents to make good moves. And this move should have screamed at you that he's going to almost have to do. And this is the move in his opening that you don't know he wants to
right.
do, at least in the Stonewall version. So we're encouraging him to make a good move. So I would have been much happier with your bishop here or here. Even, but not with your bishop outside. Later you could think
Okay.
about times where you might do this because remember your pawns are pointing to a queenside attack. But this is the first move that I would say, it wasn't crazy about. But you did real well. Bringing it back here is better than putting it up here and going for a do-nothing check, which, by the way, would help him finish his pawn structure. So that was good instinct here. Again, you could have brought it back.
Right.
Here's
Makes
a
sense.
great spot for it, by the way, to keep, because the knight might want to come in here, and so it'd be nice to have that bishop to trade it. Just another option for you. Castles. I like this move, and I thought he's going to castle queenside. I was looking forward to it. I thought, he's going to castle queenside, and that way he could.
I was considering castling queenside. I don't know if you were listening when I was talking about it, but I didn't want. Yeah, exactly. I wasn't sure what the thought process was there because castling queenside opens up my pawns to push straight towards his king, but then he also has his pawns on his queen side that are not protecting his king, so he would be able to push them back at me.
Exactly.
So I opted for what I knew, which is castling to the king side.
Okay. So this is good because now we're going to get you opportunities to learn some other things, right? Maybe next time you'll try queenside. And you're right. He could throw his pawns at you, but look at his pawns. They're already easy targets. He has no, right? His pawns are already out. Now this is normal for the opening, but principle-wise, his king side, his castle position is a lot weaker than your castle position would be, right? So I would offer that I would agree or be happy to say, let's go with both of us getting an attack on our kings because your pawns look a lot worse than mine, right? My pawns are going to look great. I'll castle. I'll throw my pawns at you first and get my pieces all coming at you. I think I'm going to have more momentum and opportunity than you will trying to get at me. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
Okay. So yeah, something for you to try next time you're in this feel of a game.
Yes, it does. Yep.
Try castling queenside, and you're going to wait and push pawns only when you have to. You're going to be aware and pay attention. But meantime, you could start, and I would probably start with singles so that you could come here to clear some pawns. And you don't even mind sacking pawns because you're going to have a rook and you're going to get that other rook over here, right? So you have opportunities. I would look at trying that sometimes just to see how it goes and how it feels. By the way, your opponent, usually this pawn wants to come here in the stone
perfect.
wall.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
So this knight here is questionable if it's the right square for it. You could even go in here really quick and say, let's trade and let's mess up your structure and plop a pawn in here, but it's here and no there. Nothing wrong with this. Pin is fine. Again, I think the knight could have popped in here first, but pin is fine. One of the things you want to start learning, we haven't taught you yet, but there's outposts for your knights. These are great squares for your knights because this pawn can never attack that knight and there's no pawns next to it. So these squares are nice outposts for knights. We want to get our knights there. So you could have went here with the knight and then it could come back here. And then if this knight is here, you'd have two knights attacking here. You know, just things that you could try. These are outposts for your knights. And it's just, again, the nature of the beast that you're playing against. So I like the fork. I mean, the pin is fine. Coming back is fine. And now I thought right away, hit him again. Play chase the queen, right? Your bishop isn't doing anything here now because it's not pinned. So play chase the queen right away. Okay? Play chase the queen to improve your bishop onto a better diagonal and do it with tempo by chasing that queen around because he's going to move. Okay?
I think that's what I did. Yeah.
Good move. Runs away. And now look, these outposts look even better again, right? Knight here, hitting the queen. That outpost is looking really nice. So this pin is okay, but again, are you encouraging him to make a quote-unquote good move? Are you encouraging him to push this pawn and chase your bishop back and you got nothing out of it, right? So right now, it's MA's turn. It's MA's turn. But if I go here and he goes here, I go here, and the game looks exactly the same except this pawn is here, and now it's black's turn. So I just gave away a move, right? My bishop goes here and back again. I gave away a move. So the bishop should have come back and
Yeah.
gave away a move. The knight here doesn't really work. It could. It could. Don't get me wrong. It could, but it doesn't. The reason it doesn't work is he has to take because you.
I was trying to find a position that we had in an earlier game where we did. Yeah. I was trying to find the position that we had in the earlier game.
The bishop was here last time.
Because. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah. But this still could work. Now you've lost a knight. It's your turn.
But yeah, it didn't work. I realized.
So you have to take with the pawn to threaten the knight with a pawn because your bishop is being threatened with a pawn. With me? You got to attack with a pawn because you're about to lose.
Yeah, that makes sense. And that was another one I think I realized right after making the move.
Yep, the bishop doesn't work because now he should just take your bishop. He should just take free candy and he lets you off the hook. That's a bad move. And no, I'm not insulting your opponent, right? But the point is, you are playing right with him. There is no reason for you to think he's a lot better than you because he should have just taken the free candy, but he missed it, and he does this, allowing you to do what you did, which was good, and save the bishop. You saved the bishop, and he should never have allowed it. So he just missed free candy, basically, right? He left that free candy there. So yeah, this move was bad in the first place because you just encouraged him to push the pawn, but he let you get out of it. You saw the mate. Very good. I thought you would, and you did. But now look, these are weak squares, and what color is his bishop? So that, but there's not much else you could do, right? You could do this. This might have been a better way to stop.
Didn't even consider that.
Yeah. So you got to.
But yeah, that looks a lot stronger.
Right? You got to look deep. Don't stop at the first answer that solves your problem. See if there's another way that you could do it. This would be very interesting. I mean, he could try things like pressuring you, but you have enough pieces on that square that even if he takes, you just take him back with the pawn and you're still okay. So, yeah, I think this might have been an easier or safer way for you to protect.
Yeah,
the thing
I like that.
What I like about this is these weak squares At this point, I'm like, if I'm him, I'm like, okay, can I get a bishop here? And can I get my queen here already? I'm already seeing, can I mate? Can I get my knight here? This would be good. My knight were here, I get a fork. It's just too many weak squares, and unfortunately, they're the same colors as bishop, and yours is way over here. As you saw in the game, this rook was the wrong rook unless you're going to push this pawn because your rook gets stuck. Also, at this point in the game, you definitely had to say, why do you do that?
That makes sense.
Why did the knight go there? Right? It's not under attack. You didn't attack him. Why is the knight moving? Well, probably to change positions. And that's the one you just should have identified. And so I would have liked to seen you either move the rook or even, again, push the pawn. And if he wants to go here, you trade it off, and he's got to take back with a pawn. And I think you're solid. He's going to have a hard time breaking through. You can even push this pawn with ideas of getting your bishop over here next. Make sense? Hopefully. So this move I don't like. It blocks this rook in. This rook has no scope, no place to go. He wants to play, but he can't play because this rook got too close. It's like this rook did not follow social distancing.
Oh no.
So again, so here, where's the play at? I know you're pointing to the queen side, but where's all the play? Your bishop is out of the game, right? Your bishop has no scope. So you need to figure out how to get your bishop back into the game. Okay, you got to get this bishop in the game. What else? Your king has open and white squares, and he's starting to be threatening. So I would be very happy if you found ways to maybe bring your queen here and then push this pawn. You need to open up. You need to get this side of the board active. You need to get your pieces activated, and this rook is still stuck. But this move is a bad move, and you didn't make many bad moves. No free candy. Well, you left the bishop. He didn't take it. But very, very few bad moves, MA. You played really well. But this move is bad because the queen is totally off to the side of the board, not in the game anymore. Your queen is just out of the game. And so he should leave your queen there. This is not a real threat.
Yeah.
Right? He should just leave.
In my head, that was...
Yeah, your queen's doing nothing. He should leave your queen. I could see him doing this with the rook first to keep this pawn locked in. Then pushing this pawn, pushing that pawn, pushing the bishop out. He could double up. He can bring his queen here, still protecting the pawn, and then come here for this, and then push that pawn, and then be threatening mate. Your queen is... You just took your queen and said, go over there and time out. Be in timeout. We're not... it's like your 7-year-old is bad.
Oh no.
Put him in timeout. So the bishop is in timeout, and now the queen is in timeout. And that was the biggest mistake of the game. That's where you actually fell apart as far as the gameplay went, was this queen was just totally removed from play. And that's what ultimately cost you the game. Okay? But overall, very good game. Just gotta look for
that
other
makes sense.
choices. Don't take the first choice, especially defensively. When you're under attack and you got to find a way to defend, make sure you're picking the best defense. Okay, just like attacking. I know you do this attacking. I know you look and say, is this the best way to attack? Is this the best tactic? And you look for something better, even if you find something. But you got to keep looking. By the way, this was like, so again, your opponent should have just like come over here and prep it all, right? But your opponent gave you life. Very good job of taking. Your opponent just put this queen where you have life. Right now, MA, and I'm sorry about the lag, I want to wait. Can you find a move that would be a double attack and would ultimately benefit you?
Let me see. Might take me a moment. I mean, I'm not seeing it. I'm not gonna lie.
No worries.
Oh yeah,
Now, you might say, yeah, but that's bad for me. I'm going
there
to
it
have
is.
double pawns. Yes, you're going to have double pawns, but without the queen, the checkmate's gone. And you just have to get used to this being a checkmate pattern with the queen and the bishop hitting the square. So the queens are
Mm-hmm.
gone, and now maybe you can push here, right? Trade off that pawn, and yes, you have double pawns, but your rooks can come to life and you have chances. You're in the game.
I got it.
And you never know.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Even at this level, right? Even with a 1669, there's chances that he'll be like, oh, I got to get out of check. Doing any of these moves or moving his king, he might do any of those moves and give away a free queen. But mostly you're doing it because you're okay with the trade because it would get rid of this
Yeah, I like it.
dangerous queen and it would trade it for a queen that you had that was doing absolutely nothing over here. Okay, so that would have been a
Mm-hmm.
choice.
Mm-hmm.
So we had this move. Again, I think he's giving you now. This is he's finally setting this up to win this rook. So again, you could come here right away, double attacking here, and then if you did this right away, even if his bishop came in, you'd have time to move your rook. Take here first, or move the rook. So again, you have opportunities. You can do stuff, but we push this pawn. And this pawn I don't like. I like the rook. Move if when in doubt, if you're not sure what to do, don't move a pawn. It's a good general rule. When you're not sure what to do, don't move a pawn. I'd rather you move a
Don't move a
piece
pawn.
back and forth.
Interesting.
I'd rather you move a
Okay.
piece back and forth a couple of times than move a pawn. And the reason is pawns can't move back and forth. Once you move this pawn, it's there forever until it gets taken or moves again forward. It can't go back. While if you moved, other pieces back and forth, you can always move them back. So if you had moved the rook and then you didn't like it, you could put the rook back. But if you move the pawn, he's not going anywhere. So, obviously he can't take because he would lose his queen.
Can't
But
take it back. Yeah, that
remember, this
makes
queen
sense.
has no squares to go to, and he still doesn't. And you can't, I mean, you could take, but if you take, especially after you moved his bishop, but then if you take, he takes back, and the rook is hitting your queen, and that's what happened, and it's not good. It's not fun. It's not a situation we want. So he did attack you, and you took. Again, you could have said, okay, I'm going to lose this rook. I'm going to at least come here and attack this pawn twice. And if he worries about this pawn enough that he doesn't take my rook, right? Because if he does this, you could say, fine, I'm going to at least chase your queen. And his queen's got to move somewhere. And after his queen moves, then you could take the bishop and you'd be okay. Not great, but you'd be surviving. So he might even, when you did this, decide to save his queen, in which case you could possibly save your rook. But you still gotta be careful because he's coming in here sooner than later. But anyway, so what happened was the pawn take doesn't work because the rooks are protecting each other. So you can't, he just takes back. But if he takes back, which he did, let's look at your queen. None of these squares are free, right? Rook kills you. Can't go there. Can't go there.
Yeah,
Can't go
it's
there.
just a
No, you have a move.
boneheaded play.
There's one more square. There's one more square you could have went to. And again, the trade wouldn't be
Yeah, I
as
mean, I have
bad.
no
It's
real
just
defense for that. I just bad play.
right. There's no so he takes, you take, and yeah, now what is he can't come here with his rook, the bishop. He can't come here because of the pawn, can't come here because of the bishop, can't come here because of the pawn. He can't come here because of the rook. And he's the same thing over here. So the two open files he has he has trouble using them, and your bishop is still attacking free candy, yes, you're down the exchange, but you got chances. You're still in the game. You still got chances. So yeah, don't
Hmm.
give up just because you're like, oh man, now my queen's under attack. You had a move, and it was the only safe spot. You want to find it. So you did here. He should have just taken. This is just a rook for a queen, and he could either take this way, he could take this way, he can come here, and try to get over here. I mean, right now he's just flat out winning. But your opponent again lets you off the hook. He went here, and he drops back one. Remember what I said sometime, right? He's not 2200. You've got chances, man. You could play with this guy. So you move back, attacking the queen. He could have just taken you. Remember, the number one way to get rid of an attacking piece is to take it. But he slid back. So now you again have a way to save your queen. How can you save your queen? If you notice now that you're under attack, how can you save your queen?
Well, yeah, it was as soon as I moved my queen, I knew that in the first game he was trying to give me uh, ways to get back into the game that he maybe wouldn't play ordinarily,
Mm-hmm.
and so I think he was trying to give me more chances that I'd really earned to get back into the game. So at this point, I was operating under the assumption he was seeing the best move, which was obviously to take my queen and not giving it to me for some reason. So I wasn't
Okay.
I wasn't really going to accept that. So I
So the
just
two
gave him
things
my
I'll tell
queen.
you: either
So
he
at this point
was
is like you should have taken my queen. You didn't
right.
take my queen because of reasons, and I wanted
Okay.
to continue to the game with whatever integrity I still had in it. So I gave him the queen.
Well, I'll tell you, Ma. And if that's true, he's pretty awesome. I seriously, I mean, I think that's nice. That'd be super kind for him to give you opportunities to get back into the game and not take your blunders. But while it seems very polite and kind, I'd also say,
Yeah, he
well,
wanted me to prepare a new attack. He's commenting now. Yeah.
okay, so and you should thank him for it, but also it doesn't help you as much, right? Because it sets you up to think that he might be missing moves. You want him to punish you right away so that you know never to do that again. You wanted him to take your queen when you put it there right away so that you go, oh, well, that was silly. I needed to go there. Okay, I'm not going to make that mistake again. But by giving you the opportunity, it makes you think, hey, I'm okay. And we don't want that, right? We don't want. So the charity sounds good, and I understand it, and it's very altruistic, very nice thinking. I'm not saying that he did something wrong, but I'm just saying, actually, when you're trying to learn, it's better for you to see this punishment happen immediately, and you go, okay, I got it. Never again. I'm gonna look a little harder next time. That's all. Yeah, and I'd like to see you go here.
Yeah.
That'd be
Yeah.
good. Hey, TKBTSXU. I have no clue how to pronounce that, but thank you for following. So the queen here, you get the check, and right, you can start seeing what you could get going. So I understand you, and so it's funny, right? So he was being
Hmm.
nice, and you're like, well, I don't want your nicety. I want to learn. So then you then you trade. So so it doesn't work out anyway, right? It worked out better.
I'm a bit stubborn. I'll admit that.
Yeah. So it would have been better if he just took. So just and it's just my way of teaching. Again, other people might teach differently. I teach. If I was playing you, Ma, I would have taken your queen in a heartbeat. I would have punished you every time you make a blunder, because then we could stop and say, okay, we can even end the game at that point if you want. But I want it to be in your brain that you do not make that mistake again. I played in my very first over the board tournament when I was
Yeah.
16 years old. And that was a
Yep.
long time ago for me. So at 16 years old, I played in that first over the board tournament, and I won like two, I think I won 3 games, and I had 1 game left. And I was winning that game. I was doing, oh, thank you. Thank you. And it's our real cat. But I had I was winning the fourth game. I would have went undefeated in my very first tournament ever. Right? I wasn't playing grandmasters. I was six. I was unrated, so I was in down there in the unrated section, and I was winning the game. I had like a queen and a bishop and a knight against a rook, and he back rank mated me. My king was behind its three pawns unmoved, and I didn't even see it that he had this back rank mate. And if I remember correctly, he had a knight also, and then my king had actually moved over to
Oh
f8.
no.
Yeah, my king moved over to f8 to have a way to get out. Right, my king was here, three pawns in the way, and I was like, okay, my king can get out, but his knight was here, or his knight was here, but I don't remember. But his knight was hitting the square, and so then I took my rook off the back rank to do some attacking with my queen, and he just came down here with his rook, and I'm looking, and I'm looking, and I go, that's checkmate. I can't get out. Do you want to know how many times I've lost a game to that kind of a back rank mate since then? And I've been playing a lot of games since I was 16 years old.
I'm,
Zero games have I lost to a black back
I'm
rank
guessing
mate
not many.
because I released the back rank without having to go out of the way to
Zero.
get out. Thanks, Chris. Happy birthday again, Chris. Happy birthday. So yeah,
Yeah, that's a good way to learn the lesson.
so this is my chess cat because he's a black and white and fuzzy.
Quite that fast because I've had that happen. I've been back rank mated. I'm like, I'm never getting back rank mated again with the overall sentiment,
Totally with you.
which is the harsher lessons stick faster.
Yes. So that's
No.
why I don't think it's kind not
But anyway,
punishing a mistake. I'd rather punish the mistake and help the person learn not to do that mistake again. And you don't even have to say anything, right? Because it hurts enough that we learn. Alrighty.
yeah, it does.
I
That
hope
is
this
true.
was a good lesson. I hope you enjoyed it,
But
MA. I hope you got a lot out of it. I have another student coming on,
I'm gonna go
and
spend some
let's
time with
see.
the wife on Valentine's.
Ooh, yes. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone. Forgot it is Valentine's Day.
Bit of a delay in our audio, but sounds great. Yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much once again for just um I'm growing as a chess player. So thank you, thank you, thank you. You are awesome.
Anytime. I'm glad I could help.
And
We'll see you. Hopefully, we'll see you on this week. Either your stream or
if you
mine.
haven't
I'll be
yet,
visiting you if I see you online. Good luck on some more games today.
go.
I'm going to be staying on. Like I said, I have another lesson coming up in 20 minutes. So I'll just do some housekeeping and I'll probably do some puzzle storms while I'm waiting for my other
Awesome,
student. But I'll let you go and
awesome.
please practice this. Do not play D4 every game, but try to put it in there every couple of games. Do a couple of D4s for this week, and then decide which style you like. Do you like D4 or E4 style of opening families? And that'll help us later kind of like pinpoint some openings for you to try.
Okay, I caught you back in.
All right. So
So I'm gonna be alternating or deep long. So we'll have plenty to talk about next week, and I'm excited for that next lesson. So that sounds great.
all
Sounds
right.
great. I'll have to get used to it. But awesome. Have a great rest of your day. Great next lesson, and hi to everyone hanging out the stream. Yeah, have a great day. Happy birthday, Chris. Big 18 man. Wish you the best, my friend. Until such time, I will see you all next time.
Ditto, ditto. Good job. All right. So let's see. I turned off that camera, so that'll have some bandwidth, I'm sure. And we can go back to our lecture while we wait. We finished lesson 8. We finished up this double attack. I think it was really nice. Really good one for everyone. Hey, you're welcome very much. You guys, you played well. You helped him out a lot. The only I would give you is Yeah, punish him when he makes a blunder. Take the piece and learn fast that way. But again, that's just my opinion. That's just the way I like to do it personally. So we're gonna try to have another lesson at 3 o'clock Eastern time. So I have about 17 minutes. Hopefully that one will go smooth. We'll see. Trying to add video and stuff is always fun, and just trying to deal with all the vagaries of trying to get everything to work while streaming is not always easy. So let's see if we can put that back, and probably I'm going to see if I can find any games by our intrepid player that we will be teaching, and hopefully that'll help out. So I'm going to and see if I can find any games right now by him. That's one of the ways I really like to start teaching, is to see the games they've played and go over their games. So he's online, TacoBoy. I don't know if you're on stream, but he told me you wouldn't be able to get here till 3. If you are here early, happy to get your lesson started early, because we want to make sure it's working and set it up. We'll see. And let's see. We'll see how fast we can get this to work. I don't have anything else open. Always double checking that. And let's see. I can stream this window. Might help a little bit. And it's responsive. We're going to wait for it. And it looks like my screen is frozen, so if you guys can let me know if you hear me fine, everything's working fine, that'd do me a little bit of good. Then again, since my screen is frozen, I really probably won't see that note. But you can always give me a note in Lichess also. And my Lichess, again, Tiberian64, Tiberian. So if you want to drop me a note in there that everything is okay, and although my screen I see frozen, I can see your chat, so please forgive me if I don't acknowledge any chats for the next 5 minutes or so while my computer catches up. I was worried that it was overheating fan, so I've set up my computer a little bit differently, so the fan is definitely not blocked by anything. It's up in the air, the computer, enough that the fan should be getting access to air, so I'm hoping it doesn't have a problem. All right, so TacoBoy Dream Shake, what a nice combination. Definitely one of the best names, but also a good friend of mine from volleyball. Played volleyball together at Notre Dame. He was a student, and now he's a graduate. And I was and still am staff, and so I was playing him. We played in a league together. So let's see, he has a nice game here, a win. And his rating is already 1375, so he's doing really well. That's nice. Stronger player. I figure I can help most players all the way up to 1800. I figure if you're over 1800, you might not need me. All right. Yes, no, he's not a streamer, so he gets to just be just with me. He's just getting a lesson. You don't have to be a streamer, of course, to get a lesson. I give lessons all the time. I work with students, and so this one is just an opportunity for us to do a lesson together. I'm going to see about Ryan. We're going to try to talk and start a conversation. All right, so let's see. I'm still learning Discord. I'm going to try OBS. I had very nice Flavio suggested I try it, and I'm with him. I'm going to try it, but right now we're going to just see if we can start a video call with Ryan, and then I can add his picture. Hopefully, hopefully it'll work without too much difficulty. And if I can get him online, his picture will be the only one that we're going to be using. I actually can turn off my camera. I'm going to try turning off my camera, and hopefully that'll save some bandwidth. And then once Ryan gets on, we can display him, because it's always nice to see the person you're playing or doing the lesson with. Yeah, you are so good, Chris, supporting everybody. I'm giving out the you make my heart soar, because I'm like, and young people, right? I mean, Chris just turned 18. Hopefully he doesn't mind, but MA already told everyone, so I don't feel like I'm giving away a secret. And to be as generous and kind as you are, it just does my heart good for the youth coming up. Now, I have a 14-year-old daughter, so I don't know if that means that I know that people are kind and generous or not. So let's see if. So, Ryan, I did send you a video invite to meet with me via video, and it says you are connecting. So, we'll see. You might have more trouble than I do. We'll see. Let's see, I need to move this over to our live lesson, which I believe I already tried clicking on, but again, my screen gets slow and gets stuck on my end, so I can't tell if it's slow and stuck on your guys' end. And hopefully we'll get this set up. It wasn't supposed to happen until 3, so I don't mind getting there. Yeah, we'd love to have a community of nice, polite chess players. There's a ton of beginners online. I like to go into, personally, I go into Twitch and I'll filter on fewest viewers. I'll look for family friendly sometimes, but very few put that in their tags. But I'll look at them and I'll go out and watch them and listen to them. And a lot of them are beginners. A lot of them are beginners. A lot of them like to use taglines like just learning how to play. Somebody teach me. Somebody show me. So a lot of them are beginners and self-admittedly so. I love it. And it's great. And I try to go out and watch some of those streamers and support some of them. XCTC was one I was supporting. He's overseas somewhere. I'm not sure where, but his time zone is extremely different than where we're at, as an example. Oh, good, Chris.
Learning how to work and some of them.
Let me know.
XCTC was one of.
Let me know when you start streaming for sure. I definitely would be happy to see what you do and help you out and hopefully follow you, right? That would be fun. All right, so Ryan's got his picture started. I need to edit my scene and fix his view or my view of him. I did a pop out on the last one. It didn't seem to help any if I popped out MA. I did mute you right now just so you know, Ryan, because I was getting feedback or loop on it. So I'm waiting to make sure it's going to behave properly. And so I figured I'd do your picture first, see if I can get that fixed. And then I will turn on the sound to see how that works. Oh, let's see. Yes, it may not capture the way I think. Okay. Actually, I didn't need to do that. I just needed to crop anyway. I don't want to change. So we'll recrop Ryan's picture. And he's got his headphone on. Awesome. And I don't know if he can hear me, that I'm not using Discord's volume yet. There we go. Let's save that, and we're going to move it over and see if we can get his picture working better. Okay. Waiting on it, waiting on it, waiting on it. I don't know, Ryan. I can't tell for sure if it'll be easier, better, worse. Laptop versus a different device. I don't know. All right. I'm going to save that down. And then I will turn on. Let's see if I can turn on my mic for you first. So do you hear me now? Ryan, can you hear me now? Let's see, don't hear TacoBoy yet. Good seeing you.
I can hear you. I don't know if you can hear me at all.
I can. Good seeing you. It's been a while. Everything going well, I hope? So, Flavio, you're saying you go online, you go live soon? If you do, let me know. I will definitely, hopefully, share anyone that's still here after we get done. And we should be done by 4. I do have tennis today at 5, so I got to get ready for tennis. So, definitely we're going to stick to an hour lesson. So, Ryan, I'm going to bring up your game, the last game I could find that you played on Lead Chess, and we're going to review your game first to see what areas we can work on, where you might need help, where you're doing fine. So I lost your picture, but hopefully you'll come back, and it's not a big deal. As long as you can follow along, I'm happy, because the first part I'm just going to go over your game. So if you get your picture back, if you get connected back that way, that's great. Otherwise, hopefully you're still following. If it would be, okay. About the small streamers. Oh, about, what do you mean, Chris? About supporting them? You're talking about Flavio or someone else? Oh, let me know. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, no worries, Flavio. Love having you there. Hey, Ryan, you're back. So the camera's still set up right. So I'm going to go over your game, Ryan. Hopefully you can follow me on Twitch or on, well, Lichess, we haven't set up a study yet. So let's do that first. It will delay this start of the lesson, but it's worth it. I'm going to push you over to a study that I'll create. And that way I can invite you to the study and we both can move the pieces, but you'll be able to see real time the arrows being drawn. You'll be able to see, you can make notes in there. I can make notes. So it's the way I like to teach with Lichess, is using studies. So that'll take a few moments for me to just move you over and get you in there. So hopefully you don't mind. All right, so we'll create a study. We have one for Modern Ancient. I have one for Chris. We're going to start a study for TacoBoy. And unfortunately, it's slow. I warned you, it's slow at my end. So I don't know what to do except for buy a new computer and try that, and I still plan on doing that. I'm looking for a mini. I'm thinking a mini desktop that I can plug everything in and kind of make it a dedicated streaming machine. So I'm hoping to get a mini for less than, say, $500 that I can set up. I can always use it for something else later. It's not like it's going to, if I ever quit streaming, it's going to be a waste of money. But let me know if anybody has any advice about mini computers to use for this purpose. I would love your input. I've looked and looked and looked. I checked. Alpha Gaming has tons of YouTube videos about all the equipment you need, and he almost never talks about a computer. I would love your. All right. So yeah, if you can learn anything, if you could tell me anything, that'd be great. So TacoBoy, I've invited about all the equipment you need. Can you? I don't know if you're. I'm getting feedback where I hear me telling you something really late. So yeah, maybe the headphones will do it. Let me know. That'd be great. And so now I'm just going to go over your game meantime. So don't worry if you're not caught up yet on the audio visual. We can make it happen eventually.
Yeah,
I'm just going to go over your game. So, TacoBoy, you are white in this game, and you are higher rated than your opponent. So that's nice. So the first thing I'll tell you is that if you are true to your rating, I'm okay with you playing non-center pawns. So some of my students might be like, what? Why? What? It's because when you are below 1,000, I don't want you moving non-center pawns unless provoked. If you are above 1,200, so maybe below 1,200 maybe, but if you're above 1,200 and Ryan is above 1,200, I am very happy for you to play any opening you want. You could start studying openings. You could go for it. Now I'm going to tell you, as one of my students, between 1,000 and maybe 1,400, and I'm guessing at the numbers because we'll have to wait till we get there. But between 1,000 and 1,400, that's where I start thinking, yeah, we still don't want to be doing gambits. Now, this is not a gambit because this pawn is not, there's nothing free. Ryan's not giving away anything away free. So it's not a gambit, but I wouldn't want him playing gambits until then. And this says the makings of a king's gambit. And so I'm not crazy about him playing a gambit yet, but it's okay. The other thing bad about this is it weakens the king's side. And if Ryan decides to castle king's side, his king is going to not have a safe home. All of that said, I will tell you, Ryan is playing with the same kind of style that I like to play. This is how I play most of my chess games, where I will do this. I'll do it against a Sicilian. I'll do it against this, whatever this opening is with the knight move. So it meets my style. But again, working with most of the people we're talking about, beginners, I want you to be a little bit more careful, a little more safe until you get more experience and get used to how to play in certain situations. I'm going to check the chat real quick. Flavio. Oh, well, that's great. It's funny. You're a tech guy. I have a programming degree, but I am so far away from understanding hardware. I'm not a good hardware person. And you work at an electronics store. Can't do better than that. I tell you what, Flavio, you could do me an awesome favor. I've been asking. Nobody can give me a good answer. I want a mini desktop PC, by the way, because all my other equipment, I'm just used to PCs. A mini PC setup that will guarantee that I will have the proper hardware to stream. And as far as I can understand, that means I need 8 gigabytes of RAM. That means I need whatever kind of CPUs, but I'd also, most of them are saying that you really should have a graphics card. And they give you the minimums. Twitch actually gives you the minimums. But what I'm using is a Lenovo desktop, and laptop. And my Lenovo laptop, either my graphics card is weak or dying or failing, or it just doesn't have a good enough graphics card, is my guess. I've already changed my modem, changed my router, got a new extender. Everything else is fine except for the hardware. So great. Oh, okay. Well, Flavio, if you can pick out the one I could buy. If I could buy it from your store, I would. If you could show me how I could do that, I don't mind that even. Otherwise, I'll find it wherever I can. But I'd be so in debt. I'd appreciate it so much. A free lesson for you whenever you want it. If you notice, all these lessons are free, but you would get that free lessons especially. All right. So the opponent does try to turn it into a King's Gambit. And very nice. Very good, Ryan. I'm liking your play. No reason to overreact. Reason to take. Leave the pawn because that's the King's Gambit style. You want him to take, and then you want to control the whole center. Just for all of the viewers that don't know me, when I analyze a game that someone's played, I do not peek ahead and say, oh, you should make this move, and then go, yeah, that's because I know the move you made. I don't. I like to be surprised as if I'm watching the game live. But I really like that move. For black, not crazy about it. I would have actually liked to see him be more aggressive and come all the way, or bring the bishop out, stopping chances for castling and stopping this pawn push. Definitely, I would have liked to see black come out. But we're not analyzing for black. We're analyzing for our hero, Ryan. So another really good King's Gambit developing move. Very aggressive, very good, no worries. And we're developing our pieces. So black is threatening to double up on the knight. Let's see what happens. Ryan says, that's okay. Take my knight. My queen will come out, and I'm getting a discovered attack down here. I'm feeling really good about my game, says Ryan. By the way, this bishop is not protected. So a lot of times in games like this, when we see the knight try to come after the doubling up of the knight, we'll see the bishop go ahead and sacrifice for the pawn. The king gets dragged out. The knight can take here, and then the bishop will fall. So a lot of fun stuff can happen in this game. Oh, okay, we get a little bit more quiet development. We're not doubling up on the pinned piece, which, as we know, could be dangerous for black. But boy, wouldn't it be nice if this bishop were out here? Black really should like to have that bishop out here. Oh no, yeah, I guess I can't order from Portugal. You're right. Amazon. I usually shop at Amazon. So yeah, if you find anything good at Amazon, it works. Thank you. You're awesome. And Flavio, so you are in Portugal. I'm asking, do you speak Portuguese? Do you speak Spanish? Because I'm trying to learn Spanish. I'm working on Spanish really hard using Duolingo, Rosetta Stone. I even found a coach. Actually, Ryan is someone from Notre Dame. She helps out. She teaches through one of their programs. So, yep, Amazon USA. So I'm looking to get Spanish. So let's see. Let's go. So Ryan took the pawn. Yeah. Okay. What would I want to see Ryan in general? I want to see you still develop because guess what? We're still okay with him taking. And if you want to hold off on pushing this pawn because we want to push it 2, so you don't want to push it 1, have him take, and then push it again, totally understand. I'm okay with this pawn move because, again, you're not restricted to only center pawns. Threatening to do this pawn move next, plus keeping the knight out. This pawn move could be very nice with this combination coming. I'd also like to just see the knight get developed. Develop the knight and see what your opponent does, and then based on what he does, you could decide if you can get this pawn in. But I'm not crazy about you taking the pawn this early. Sí, obviously. Lo siento. And yes, sí, español poquito. Gracias. I would love to practice more Spanish. All right, so we get the pawn. I'm not crazy about you taking the pawn. Again, why? Because you're not developing your pieces. Remember, it's a race for development. And I don't see, and you might be showing me in a second, but I don't see the great tactic that's affording you to not develop a piece. Remember, only if you have tactical opportunities would we want to jump in and not develop a piece, and instead do this. So he gets to take back. You have to move your piece again. So you see what I'm saying? We're not developing. He has 3 pieces developed. You have 3 developed because we count castling. We count castling as development. So you're equal in development, but boy, these pieces are just locked in here. They want to play, and you do have a free pawn hanging. Again, can he take? It's a good question, especially with the rook aiming down at you. That would have been very scary, but instead he takes. Again, he could have developed his pieces, would have been much better. Developing his pieces would have been much better. But now you take back with the rook, no problem there. He can take and get the exchange, or he can leave the pin. But if he leaves the pin, he's got to be careful. He can't do things like this because then you get momentum. So he took the exchange, and now all he has to worry about is eventually that you might get this opportunity. Nothing for him to worry about at this moment. So I think Black is doing very well in this game. Not crazy about that, only because it weakens the king side. But again, you don't have pieces yet attacking. But I would have just liked to see the bishop so that he could castle super fast. Bishop castle super fast would have been better in my mind. But he's going to get there anyway. And now we get the center. That's really nice. Good job, Ryan. You are controlling the center. So Ryan, go ahead and try talking. Let's see if I can hear you through Discord. No? No speaking yet. I'm watching your camera, but I can't tell if you're speaking. So if you get a chance, go ahead and chime in and let me know so we can see if we can hear you. Alrighty. Ryan gets the center. Nice job. Controls the center. Now his pieces are getting developed. He only has 1 more piece to develop while Black still needs to castle and move the queen. For me, full development includes the queen. Oh, I would love that. Yeah. It would be great practice, and it would force me to look up terms. I'm with you, Flavio. If I get the streaming where it's not hiccuping, I will definitely try to stream in Spanish. Now, I do watch Anna Rudolph, Anna Chess on Twitch, and she does Spanglish. So she'll do English and then Spanish, English, then Spanish. She actually translates as she does it, and I like watching her do that because, again, it just gives me more insight. I love the words, because a lot of the words that we use for chess people don't usually use. Ajedrez, a lot of people don't talk about chess terms, right? Squares, attacks, doble ataque, jaque mate, just great. Anyway, so we get a castle, no problem there. Develop, and we get a pin. It is a pin. We're threatening to push, and then push again. We're threatening to get another piece on it. So this is a threat, but Black should just get out of the way as fast as possible because this piece is, it's only protected once. It's only protected once and it's already attacked twice. The rook's going to come over and attack it a 3rd time. So we're going to get into lots of trouble if Black doesn't quickly remedy this. So how do we remedy it when we got a piece pinned? Usually put the question to the bishop. It's going to weaken the king side, but really you got to do something, and Black does nothing about this pin. So this is the simplest choice, but we also get, if we can ever attack it with a pawn, we're going to be a happy camper as White. So white decided to use the knight first. Again, could have used the pawn, but this is fine. Ryan's doing fine. Ryan's playing good moves. And we step out of the pin, but as you see now, we have one, two, three pieces attacking, only one protecting, so we're in trouble. Oh, your audio's not coming through. You came through earlier, Ryan. So once I get finished with this boring part of the lecture, we will test again and see if we can get your audio working. I had deafened you once, but I undeafened you, so you should be able to come through audio wise. Oh, I hear noises. That's got to be you because this is the other noises that would be on stream. So I think you're coming through now. Okay, good. We'll keep going. Um,
Okay, yeah, I can see audio. My video is uh correct, but the audio is a little delayed.
yeah, just a little delayed. And whenever you start speaking, I will stop and we'll wait and let you catch up. So just so you know. Um, Flavio, awesome. I would love to help him out as a small streamer and connect with him, especially if he's doing Spanish and chess. Get me his name. I will go check him out. The only thing that would keep me from being more active with him or less would just be based on what kind of language, because I have a lot of children that I have following me or I invite them to because I teach children a lot. But I could still watch them, but I might not recommend them to my children that are watching. But anyway, let's get back to the game. Ryan, thank you. I'm glad you can chime in with questions, and we're going to need you to talk soon. So here's a great choice Ryan makes. He takes with the bishop first. Why? Because one, he's attacking the bishop, so it's kind of like you want to take back. But if black takes back, white gets to double attack and win the queen, right? So it's going to be now. White had chosen to take with the knight first. Of course, there would be no double attack. He'd still lose a lot of material. And by the way, we're threatening mate next move. And the queen can't come here to stop you. The queen can't come here to try to trade off. Look at this. The queen can't come to either one of these places to try to trade off queens because the bishop and the pawn attacks. So it looks like if you had taken with the knight, that could have worked too. But, right, it's black's move. Black can't even move here to get out of the checkmate threat. Moving the rook so the king can try to escape won't work because the very next move, the bishop takes away that square. So this looks like it's a forced mate coming. But the queen could go back, forcing trying to force a trade, and the attack probably would peter out. I mean, we can move back, and it's not going to work out. So, better choice, definitely taking with the bishop first. Definitely taking with the bishop first. But those are fun things to figure out and make sure you look through. So taking with the bishop first, does black? No, black says, no. I'm not giving away my queen. I see that. You can't fool me. I see that. But white still wins the queen. Let's see if Ryan found it. Yes, he does. We get a check, and there's no way out of the check except to take the piece that's attacking you. So this does not work. It didn't work if you took. It's just basically Ryan has a winning combination from a move ago. So the game is almost already over. And his pawn still can't move because of the pin. So troubles. And we're going to be in a lot of trouble. So good. Rook comes over. Again, he could have used, if he used the other rook, it wouldn't matter because he's still losing a bishop for a rook, right? He's still losing the exchange. But using this rook, looks like I can get away, but not really. So the queen taken would have been interesting. I mean, the bishop taken would have been interesting also because he still would have had to move here. But the queen is better because the queen can come here and then the next move the bishop. And if the bishop blocks, the queen gets to checkmate. Let's see if that's what happens. We get check, forced move. Bishop finds the right move and we block and he mates with the bishop. A little bit more aesthetically pleasing than mating with the queen. I like it. So yeah, Ryan, you played a very good game. Only minor things that I saw that I would work on in this game was that you missed some opportunities perhaps early not to take with the pawn and to still keep the pressure, just building that pressure. You ended up losing the exchange, but it worked out for you, although I think your opponent could have put up a little bit more resistance. But yeah, worked out for you pretty nice. Nice game, not bad at all. I don't have too many negative critiques, or I should say, constructive criticism. I don't have that many constructive criticism for that game. All right, I'm going to go back and see if you have one more game to look at, and if you'd like to share any thoughts about this game or any other questions you have in general while I go find another game, one more game to review. This one I knew was a win, so I'm going to review a loss for you, and you'll see why I tell people all the time, and most people agree, you learn more from a loss than you do from a win, and the reason is your win, I'm just going to be looking at all the great moves you made and the mistakes your opponent made. So I'm pointing out maybe some tweaks that you could have done or some other options you could have looked at. But really, you played fine. And your opponent gave you too many opportunities. Yeah, Flavio, that's great. Definitely talk to him first. But if you ever let me know who he is, I'll definitely check out his stream anyway for myself. Even if he doesn't want to collaborate, I'm happy to just check out his stream, especially if he's speaking Spanish and doing chess. So, all right, so let's find one where you lost. Oh, the game right before that. You played a 1607 higher rated player. So let's go check out that game, Ryan, and we'll see if we can find a little bit more advice to give. So Flavio, you and Ryan might play a game. That would be a good practice game for him. We're going to have him play a game like I always like to do after we talk about how he can improve. And you're right up there in the ratings, so you two would probably have some pretty good games. So maybe you two could play a game after this one. But let's see what happens. So your opponent plays towards a Karo Khan. So he's high enough rated that I wouldn't tell him he couldn't, right? He's 1607. And I, again, have no problem with this personally because it's the style I like to play. But again, maybe taking the center immediately. So with this pawn move, Ryan, just as for you to think through, because this one does weaken your king side, this one you attack the center. And this is normal, the Karo would expect it. So yeah, you wouldn't be surprised by it, but it would also fit what we try to teach. So he still presses on with the Karo Khan, and let's see how you decide to react. Pushing the pawn, definitely a choice to be made. Pushing here, taking back isn't probably a great choice because he should take, you take back. He takes your queen, you lose your right to castle. Queen's off the board, so it's not as important. You'd have more of the center pawn, so to be still interesting, you could play it that way. But, nothing wrong with pushing. And he should get his bishop out before he blocks in his bishop. So let's see if he chooses to do that. He does. He jumps the bishop out. Chris, on chat or on Lee Chess? I don't see any on Lee Chess messages. So, of course, I see your chat messages whenever I catch up. Oh, awesome. That's fine. As long as he can speak Spanish with me, I'm going to be a happy person. So let me know, Chris, if you meant on Lee Chess, because I don't see any messages there right now hitting me. All right, nice. You're developing your pieces, so I said nice. I'm happy to see you develop your pieces. You could have also tried to shore up the center. That would have been okay too. It would have been fine with him pushing for him because it would just create some problems for you, but he's playing a classical setup and he's got all of his pawns. His pawns are on white and his center pawns are pointing to the queen side, and so is his bishop. So you can anticipate, Ryan, that his attack should naturally flow to the queen side. Oh, yeah, I don't know, Chris. I saw these messages. I didn't see any previously, so I might have missed some. That you invited me to? No, I didn't put this in the study yet. How's that? How's that, Ryan? I'm just looking at your game, forgetting to put it in the study. Thank you for reminding me. I will move it to the study, and sorry, we'll have to pause while the computer catches up, but I will push it over to the study so you can see this in the study. My bad. Gives me an opportunity to get a drink of water. And that's what's in here is water. That's good stuff to drink. So Ryan, you're out on the West Coast. I'm not going to say where, of course, but you're out on the West Coast. Are you playing any volleyball?
And move back and
All right, I'm going to put it. It's called Game Study at the moment.
forth.
We're going to rename it to TacoBoy, so it's easier for me to find in the future. Leech has definitely put your studies that you've put something in more recently.
Besides, and like peppering between.
Sorry, Ryan, did you say you're playing volleyball out there or not? I'm waiting because he's got a lag. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is change this title from Game Study to TacoBoy.
Peppered with nephew.
You broke up a little bit. Did you say you're playing with a nephew? All right, so again, we have this setup. This tells us we're coming queen side. And so just for you to keep in mind that his setup points to the queen side, yours points to the king side. Most people actually appreciate that, but if we notice now, what's wrong with this move? He's moved the pawn twice. So that pawn moved early in the game, and we're going to move it again, which I don't like because now he's moved it twice, lacking development. You have opportunities. Nice opportunity to pin that knight wherever it decides to go because that's his best choice. And after you pin the knight, then you can go here with your pawn to protect twice. I'm liking your situation. You do throw in the check. Totally love it. Knight comes out, and you do. Look at that. So everything, that's how I know that, and you know that I'm not gaming you. I'm telling you, these are the moves I would have looked for you to make, and you're making them. And so I have nothing to tell you. You did really good. Now, how do you take back? I'm hoping you take back with the knight. Why? One, it doesn't open up this diagonal for your king, which the queen might want to try. Two, it attacks the knight twice. Three, it attacks the bishop, and getting rid of his bishop is not a bad idea in this situation. And even though it's his bad bishop, and we could talk about bad versus good bishops later if you're not familiar with it. But the knight take would put two pieces on this knight, and it's still pinned to the king. So I'm liking if you take back with the knight. Okay, so this one surprised me. Taking with the queen is a little daring and a little unexpected, mostly because the knight move would have given me two that I would have been able to probably take sooner than later. So let me just show you why I really would have liked the knight move. Because now you're threatening to take, and if he lets you take, right? If you take with the knight, if he takes back with the pawn, if nothing else changed, you get a fork of the rook and the king. So what does he do now that your knight is under attack twice? He could come here. He could get away with that, and we know that because if we come here with the knight, take with the knight, his queen could just move and threaten the bishop again. But you could also take here, but you can also come out here with the queen. That doesn't quite work. He'd just take you off. Anyway, so this would be the move that we would expect. But again, remember, you could get rid of this bishop. You would double up his pawns at the worst. So you have opportunities to really mess up his pawns. You could take here first. He would have to take back. His pawns would not be nice over here. You take off the bishop. He'd have to double up pawns over here. And he has an isolated pawn, right? No, actually, one. It'd be two. So let's just walk through it. I'm telling you all the possibilities, but let's actually do it. And so you could see what I'm saying. So he pushes here. You take. He takes back. And then you could take here. And so now he has 3 pawn islands. And the more pawn islands in general is worse, right? So we want to have less pawn islands, and he would have more. Oh, peppering here and there, but no games. Okay. Pepper. Yeah, I pepper with my daughter. Pepper is where you practice, usually bump setting and spiking just with a ball and no net, and it could get pretty intense and pretty fun. Yes, and you would have had a double attack of the king and the rook. Very good, Chris. But yeah, so this situation right now, neither one of you would have any pieces out on the board, and I like white's position. Black does have some opportunities, right? Stop the castle. Could also use the bishop, stop the castle. But it is what it is. It feels like I'm still okay with the white. I think black also has good opportunities. Both teams do. So both players do. Anyway, so that's how that could have maybe gone if you decide to take with the knight. Taking with the pawn does work. I mean, you don't have to be afraid of this check because you would block the check at the same time. Oops, you'd block the check at the same time protecting the bishop. He could double up on you because now, right, if he gets to take off the knight, he removes the defender, and your bishop would be hanging. So you have to take first. He has to take, and then you can go ahead and protect the knight. And it's just a different game. But the queen take is going to be interesting. I'm wondering how that's going to play out. So let's find out. Again, I'm a little surprised. It seems kind of dangerous, but this move I wouldn't have been afraid of at all. If nothing else, you could take and double up his pawns. He is attacking your bishop that's hanging, so you'd have to deal with that, and you can protect it, or you could just trade and double up his pawns. I think you're okay here. Let's see what happens. All right, you protect with the pawn, no problem. He could put the question to your bishop. No. He says, your queen is sitting here with nobody protecting it. I'm going to attack it. Luckily, you don't have a pawn here to lose, so it's not a big deal, but you're running out of squares. Yep, running out of squares. So maybe just taking would have been the best choice. All right, coming all the way back is fine, except you don't have here. I would have come here. And by coming here, you protect both this square and this square. So if the bishop comes here, you get to trade it off. If the bishop comes here, you get to win it. So either way, not trade it off. You're winning a free piece. This move would have threatened to win a piece if he brings his bishop in. And then maybe next move, you could have put the question to the bishop, and you would have had a different game. I'm not crazy about your queen back all the way back. Why put them all the way back? I know it blocks your bishop, but in this case, I kind of like your queen blocking your bishop and freeing your bishop that way. So again, he still has this check, and now the threat. We have to see the threat. You always have to say, what is he threatening? Why did he do that? Yes, definitely TacoBoy. D2 is where I would have put the queen. So we get, he's got a nice threat coming, and we move our queen once again. So too many queen moves, right? Way too many queen moves here, here, here. That's 3 times we've moved the queen, and we still have pieces undeveloped, and he's got threats coming. He's got threats all over the place coming. So not crazy about it. This check, it's a check. He could take back with the queen and not even let you take the queen. He could take back with the pawn. The queen is still protected. So this move, I really don't. It does nothing for you. I would have been much more interested in seeing even this move, which may or may not be good, but even with the check, I might have been more interested in that move. Okay. But we get this move, so let's see what happens. And he does go with the check first. And again, he could have brought in the knight. He could have brought in more attackers first, but he decided to do it with the bishop first. I myself would have probably used the knight because, as you can see, you would have had maybe more troubles coming. Maybe. Knight comes in second. Okay. It's a little bit of a threat, not a gigantic threat. And okay, knight comes in. We finally get our second attacker, but this knight is attacked, only protected once, attacked twice, and when the queen takes again, we're going to be in check. Don't like that check. You might have ways out of it. I'm just not crazy about it. But I mean, at least you're looking for tactical ways to combat the situation. You could have taken here, by the way, and if the pawn takes, then you could have traded queens and hope that you have enough. You traded off the heavyweights. You got rid of a knight. You got rid of the queen. That would have been playable. If you took here and you took back with the queen, then you could have worried about what to do next. Maybe even now this move. But yeah, it's going to be a scary game because you're definitely not castling. And look what we just set up. Because now that the bishop moves, he gets the double attack, which was our lesson for the week. So it's really kind of cool that we get to see him practice the lesson of the week. He's setting up a double attack, and he did it pretty simply by just taking the knight. And when you take back, he does not have to take with the queen. He could just get the exchange, right? He's going to win a rook for nothing until you could take it back if you ever can. So, yep, aggressive try. I again can't fault you for aggressive tries, but the queen is poorly placed, and the best shot you had, I think, would have been to just try to get rid of the queens. So here, he doesn't really have a way to check you. He can't bring his queen here, can't bring his queen there. He's in check, so he's going to take or take with the pawn. And either way, let's say he takes. Let's say he takes with the pawn, right? Because then when you take with the queen, he could take here, and now guess what? He's threatening the double attack again. But you can at least step up, and this check really doesn't mean anything if you can move the rook out of the way. So something for you to think about as a different way. You needed you need to get rid of the heavyweight materials because you were in danger, and but as I think it's what is his name, Rosman, Gotham Chess. He also streams. He's an IM and he does YouTubes. He talks about danger levels, and I feel like we're not noticing the danger levels of this knight coming in real soon. So we get the trade. Take with the pawn. Really, again, you don't have much choice. You could have taken here first. Again, he could check. Let's see if he goes for the fork. Nope, he plays it correctly. He goes for the fork. And again, you're staying on the back line, which is interesting to me. I want to see you maybe come up here. This attack doesn't really work because you just win the knight. So maybe here would be better, but it doesn't. I don't know that it matters because he just gets the rook. Bishop to e3, and he castles, and that's game. I take it you resigned. So one of the things I will tell you also is that I try to get my students almost never to resign. You dropped the rook so far. You have 3 minor pieces to his 3 minor pieces, so you dropped the full rook. Okay. He might drop something back to you, right? I mean, you got to give him the opportunity to blunder. You really do want to give him the opportunity to blunder. Unfortunately, he has a threat on your bishop, which is pinned to your queen, and you can't take any longer because he's not going to be in check, so he could just take your queen. So it just points out again how maybe before he castles, like right now, before this bishop move, you could have gotten this move in. Here he might even take with the queen because now he's threatening your bishop, but then you could get out of it and you wouldn't potentially lose that bishop. But yeah, I try not to resign games because you blundered, they might blunder back. You made a mistake, they might make a mistake back. You also can get stalemates and draws, perpetual checks. There's so many ways for the games to end without a loss. And when you resign, it's just one way that game is going to ever end, and it's with a loss. So you don't get any practice, what we call swindling or stealing a game when you should have lost it, but you found ways to, fight back. You don't get that exercise. You don't get that practice if you resign games. So just in general, I think you resigned the game. I don't remember, but yeah, I would probably not. All right. Any questions, Ryan? You could chat them in the box if you're having trouble with your audio. It's still good to see your face. I think I like seeing your face because I haven't seen you in a long time. But also viewers might like it because they get to see who's getting the lesson versus just, someone chatting. But either way, you could try talking or chatting, and we'll see how it goes. Yeah, just no reason to give up. Never surrender, never give up. Or never give up, never surrender. It's one of those two. It's a quote from a movie.
I don't know if talking is going to work too much. I don't know if you can hear me trying right now.
I did hear you. So we want you to play a game now. So if anyone online would like to challenge TacoBoy to a game, so we can, actually, we didn't give you much advice. We probably should give you advice first before you play a game. So Ryan, what I'm looking for you so far that I've seen in the 2 games is to remember to develop your pieces. You're playing fine tactically, but you're not developing your pieces. I would also recommend, although you probably are having great success with f4 as your second move, seems like almost no matter what black does, I would like to see you perhaps not open up your king side so early without any reason other than it just feels good, right? I want you to be provoked before you do things like that. So, this opening was fine, but I would go for the center. And when he goes here, if you still want to push the pawn, that's absolutely fine. You could have gotten into the same feel of the game, but instead of having your king side open, you wouldn't have had that issue, and you wouldn't have lost, right? You had trouble with castling because he could have taken away that diagonal. So I would say let's play some games where you don't play f4. I would also, as I challenged my last student, I'd say every once in a while, let's see you play a d4 game and just play by the principles of development. At 1300, you should play solid, and you should be able to get into very good games with d4 or e4 before I start trying to lock you down into an opening that you're going to study. And when I say lock you down, Hikaru Nakamura says you should only really work on one opening until you're like 2200. That means one opening for white and two for black normally. And I kind of agree with that, but I don't want you even touching an opening until you're at least around your level, 13 or 1400. So you are high enough to look at openings, but again, not gambits and not weakening openings that don't really, that just exposes your king. Although, again, full disclosure, I love playing that way myself. So I'd much rather see you play the openings like the Italian would be great, and there's a lot of opportunities for different things in the Italian. Even if you really want to stick with f4 for a while, I would start you off maybe with the Vienna game, and you can throw in a occasional gambit here, the Vienna gambit. And by the way, that same Vienna gambit can be played if they move here. You could still do it. So you still can prep up and get some using what you've played in the past with f4, but also to begin with, you won't do it early. Instead, early you'll just play solid and not use this until you get very comfortable with the whole Vienna setup. And once you're comfortable with that whole Vienna setup, then we'd look at, okay, let's throw in the gambit every once in a while for fun, right? This would be for fun, but for a solid game, I want you playing it a little bit more solid. It is fun. Okay, but yeah, so your choice. One is I want to see you play d4 every once in a while. The other one is I don't want to see this f4 pawn out early. I want to make sure you're playing solid. So it's hard for me to help you principle-wise because I can't tell what principles you know or don't know because you're playing a risky opening. Excellent. Yeah. Sicilian is black. Same thing. Again, I would start you off without playing the Sicilian until you feel comfortable playing against e4 and playing against d4 with just matching it, e4, e5, d4, d5, because that way you can get the nuances of the position before you dive into Sicilian, which has different nuances, right? And you're going to be stuck in the Sicilian forever, and I don't know if you even like playing the positions you get in the Sicilian, right? And you do have to fight for d5 the whole game in the Sicilian, yeah. But do you enjoy that game? Is that a position you enjoy? The fact that you like to play f4 tells me that I wouldn't be playing the Sicilian. I'd be looking for openings that I can also be aggressive on the king side and getting my bishop out here early and having fun. So if I was just telling you for fun, I'm going to bet that you'd probably enjoy playing the Stafford Gambit. And if you go look at some of Eric Rosen's games, I think you'd probably, as black I'm saying, so let's flip the board real quick. I think you'd really enjoy playing this gambit because you would be getting those same kind of very aggressive, very attacking games that I'm getting the feeling you like because you're playing f4. So the Sicilian is not going to get you in that kind of ground, right? It's nothing like these. So you're going to be out of that norm. I would say if I was giving you opening advice, I'd probably say let's go with e5 and see if you can get an early bishop, see if you can get some attacks where it'd be more, and even where you're going to get this pawn push in early. I can still see you doing it, but preferably maybe you're castled already, kingside. And if you like this a lot, you also might want to look at castling queenside occasionally so that you can follow that up with even more pawn pushes at the king. Just considerations for you. So practice-wise, what I'd really like to see you probably start with is playing some e4 games where you don't bring out f4 so early. Save it, throw it in as a later move, but early. Let's try to just play. I want to see you just play solid, developing moves. Okay, solid developing moves, and play through those opportunities first, and then we'll see about pushing that pawn. If you're like, if you tell me, oh, but Marty, I love pushing the pawn, really want to be able to do that, then go ahead and go with the Vienna game, and let's develop these pieces first, always reserving that because you haven't blocked it with your knight. Then you could still get it in, but hopefully after you've castled again, so that the rook is threatening to have a nice open file, and you've already castled, so we don't have to worry about not being able to castle. Does that make sense? Yeah, Flavio, it's funny. I threw out the Stafford after I watched his videos a couple of times, and I've played it against stronger as in like 18, 17, 1600 rated players, and I still had really good results, but it is just kind of like fun, right? A lot of people just don't step into it because they all watch his videos too, and so they don't play knight takes pawn, and if they do, they don't play knight takes knight, so it kind of stops you from playing the Stafford. Yeah, so modern ancient is pretty easy not to respond. You either don't take the e pawn when it's offered, and that this is basically it. Hey, you're back, modern ancient. I just realized that. So if you just don't take the e pawn, then you're not playing the Stafford. And if you do take the e pawn and you don't take the knight, you're not playing the Stafford. But there's a lot of fun openings. There's the Halloween Gambit. There's the Stafford. There's the Nachmanson Gambit. So there's a lot of fun stuff for you to learn later, guys. But again, when you're first starting, and Modern Ancient, I put you in this group, we don't want to be learning openings too much. We want to be focusing on just development. But that said, I don't have a problem with you guys learning. Right? We've was it this one? Yeah, or maybe it's two nights. No, it's two nights. So we've already saw that the fried liver is a fun attack to have. By the way, that was just played in the Euro Championships the other day by Wesley So against Magnus Carlsen. Yeah, the fried liver was played in a championship at the highest level just the other day, and Magnus played the standard correct or the theory way to play against it, and Wesley So moved here, which is not standard. Back here or back here, but or not here, of course. But he went here, murphing. He murphed to bishop, not just because of the murph bishop game. So you can play them. Anyone can play them, and you can learn openings and do openings. But for right now, just doing that, there are some dangerous tricks and traps you. And as soon as we finish with week to week. And what else we have here? So, TacoBoy, go ahead and search a game. If anybody him to a game, please feel free to him to a game. He's not talking, which means Ryan, you might want to turn off your speaker so you don't hear me chatting. Again, I'm going to do probably a hard stop at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time so I can get ready to go play some tennis. I need exercise. Locked up with COVID, it's like you grab those chances to go out and play a sport. And tennis is a great sport because you're like across a whole net. Even if you play doubles, you don't have to get anywhere near your partner or the other team. There's only four at most of you on a court, and the court's pretty big. So tennis is a good sport for COVID play, I think. Yeah. So Ma, you probably wouldn't end up in the Stafford anyway. All right, let me go follow. I got to follow TacoBoy in case he gets a game. That's what we just asked for is a game. And so I got to be watching his TV so we don't miss it. It looks like Chris has challenged him to a game. Chris, you've stuck it out this far. Awesome. Staying with us. So we will bring that game up. And of course, you guys can watch it directly faster if you want with Lee Chess. Just bring up either TacoBoy or iChris 3X and you can, or X3, and you can see the game. And hopefully my computer will catch up quickly, because I'd like to see it. But again, hopefully you guys will finish before 4. That's just be nice, because I like to watch the whole game. All right, haven't missed much. So TacoBoy's developing, Chris is developing. Okay, and we don't. If you both have your mics turned off, that'd be great. So, or mics, earphones. So neither one of you is listening to me because I don't want to give away ideas. So like Chris, now that it's kind of gone, Chris had the opportunity to do the fried liver that we were just talking about against two knights defense. He had the fried liver. He could have went for it. And that's one of those, because you guys are playing by the basic setups that we're talking about, I probably will teach you at least how to play for it and against it a little bit, because you probably run into it a lot. I like this move a lot. Attacking the center. I see that Ryan is very aggressive and likes to attack the center and get these pawns up, so there's nothing wrong with that. Chris, you probably took one time more than you needed to. I probably would have left the tension. I probably would have just left that knight there and leave the tension. So Ryan needs to develop his bishop now somewhere. And Ryan is higher rated than Chris, so it'll be interesting. Always like that diagonal for the bishop. That's just such a nice diagonal for the bishop. And now, of course, Ryan just has to not give away a free queen. That would be a good idea, not to give away the free queen. Not usually a good idea in anybody's imagination, right? We don't want to give away a free queen. Where does the queen go, though? Do we want to put it here? Do we want to put it here? The only place I could tell you I really didn't want to see him put it was here. This can be interesting. Chris can take the pawn. Knight takes back. Rook comes over to pin. And then whatever black does, the next move, it could be here with a fork on the rook and the knight. So, but this also gets him two attackers on the pawn. But now Ryan can say, okay, I know it's not optimal, but I'm going to protect it with the pawn, even though it weakens my king side because I'm provoked. Remember, if you're provoked, you can break any of these rules we're talking about. And this simple rule of not moving anything but the center pawns, Ryan, by the way, isn't even being restricted to that because he's already at 1386. So I'm not even restricting him only to center pawns. But he definitely could have pushed the F pawn to protect the E pawn. At that stage, I wouldn't have had a problem. Now he is walking into a pin. So if white just takes, how does black take back? Whatever he takes back with, that pawn push threatens to win material. Right? No matter what. And so again, by protecting it with a pawn, he would have been able to take back with a pawn. So that's interesting. Chris is being a little aggressive. Again, I would have just taken and then pushed and gotten back my pawn. And then, humorously enough, we do see it anyway. So he's piling up because the rook can't take. And he's piling up some more. So what should happen now? Black should castle. Black, blah, 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 blah. Black needs to get out of dodge and castle. Black just needs to get out of dodge and castle. There's really nothing else to be done. You can't take here because then it's a free piece because we still have this beautiful pin. Chris is using the pin to good effect. But yeah, castle would be very nice. Pawn takes, can even take back with the pawn. And then you have one, two pieces attacking it versus three attacking it. And with the trades happen, you still have the rook, you have the bishop, well, not the bishop, the queen's in the way, but the queen coming out, so it'll be interesting. But I think real simple, black just needs to castle, needs to get out of dodge. Say, let's get out of the pin altogether and get my king to safety. And there's no white bishop, only a white queen. So the king would be there just fine. All you're threatening to lose is a pawn. All that's being threatened is to lose a pawn. So just give up the pawn, castle, and be happy. Yeah, good job, Ryan. All right, and I know he can't hear me. He is knowing him from playing volleyball with him, totally an honorable person. So I know there was no chance he's listening in. Not that Chris would ever do it either. From what I've seen about Chris, he's a pretty terrific person too. But I just wanted you to know, because he made the move I've been begging him to make, that I have confidence neither one is listening in. And the game goes on. Yep. And so again, here he could take with the pawn, but he could look for other things, right? He could take with the knight. Knight's fine. I would have preferred he take with the pawn, maybe, to free up this and have a discovered attack on the bishop. And that way the bishop would have to decide how he wanted to play it. But again, now I would take with the pawn. If the knight takes, you could take. Rook can take. Queen could take with check. He's down. He's going to be down a pawn. That's all. Just down a pawn. And he has to live with that probably. Now, he does not need to take back. If he takes here with the knight, he could bring up his queen, getting a second piece attacking the knight and simultaneously doing a double attack here. Oh, nice in-between move by Chris. Chris is playing pretty well lately, as MA sure knows, and it is Chris's birthday. So we kind of want to root for Chris because it's his birthday. Oh, even though we're giving the lesson to Ryan. So this does put a third piece on the pawn, which is a lot better than taking with the knight and allowing white to get a double attack. But either way, it's going to be pretty interesting. White can block with the queen, by the way, because the bishop's there. So he could block with the queen. He could block with the queen here. Might even be more interesting because he can't really take the time to figure that he's going to get a second attacker because queen takes queen, knight takes, and we get that. So I like the queen. I like the king moving over. I kind of like everything, but this is a good move because now we have 3 attackers and only 1 defender. We already had 2, but now it's even better. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. In case anybody's new on, we didn't wish you a happy Valentine's Day. Hope you have good plans for Valentine's. We just did 2 back-to-back lessons. This is Ryan's lesson. If you ever want a lesson, happy to help. If you're probably 1900, you don't need a lesson from me. You probably need to get a lesson from somebody that's a national master, which I've found some good ones. Jesse, I think it's Jesse Cohen. I'll have to double check. Jesse seems like a real nice guy. And in fact, I always mess up pushing or rating other people. Like I was, thank you so much, Johnny D. Still, he rated us earlier, and I'm always bad at that. So I'm going to try to find out who I know is online right now so that I can look at pushing to somebody else. Now, it doesn't have to be somebody like I recommend them, like Anna Rudolph. Like I told you, she does Spanglish even. She does Spanish and English, and she's normally family friendly. So I like to support her, even though she doesn't need support. She has like over 2,000 people viewing her at any time. It's crazy. And you have 3,000 viewers. So, maybe not the right one that I need to find to push towards, but we still might do it anyway. Because again, I like her style. I like the fact that she's clean. Okay, so I was chatting, so I missed. So we did block. He blocked with the queen, traded the queens, trades down, and now he's deciding, okay, what to do next. Again, he could take here. We see that this pawn is hanging though, so he might not want to do that, right? He might not want to give up. He takes, the rook takes, and then this pawn is at risk. He could put a question to the knight right away and say, go away. I mean, he's got this square covered. He's got every other square covered. It looks like pretty, just glancing at it quick. He could put the question, say, knight, go away. And once the knight goes away, he no longer has that threat on his pawn, and then he could take. And you probably want to do it first, because that way if the knight were to come here to try to get your rook, you still just take it off. If you don't do it first, and again you take, and then he pushes the pawn, the knight could still come here and make your rook get uncomfortable, and then he could double up his rooks. So this is, I think, the best move at the time. Okay, did I miss any chats? Oh, okay. I don't think you're talking to me about that at the moment, but that's just a mistake, is it not? Come on, guys, is that just a mistake? That seems like free candy to me. That seemed like free candy to me. And no matter where this knight decides to go, there's no back rank mate because the knight has to get out of the way for the rook to come down. Now you could pin that bishop to the rook and be annoying for a while, but I think that was just a mistake. So he had to find a better square for the knight. Obviously here, not here. Bishop still could take him off. So the knight could have moved here though, or here. So either one of those squares would have been good. Chris just missed it. I think he just missed the fact that he was in trouble, that the knight was free candy there. TacoBoy, I can see why he's 13 and change, because he doesn't miss free candy when it's offered. Now this is dangerous. I would like to see him come here instead, pitting the knight if the rook decided to come over to the file. But this is dangerous. Now it keeps out, look at this. These bishops can attack all four of these squares, but the problem is this, exactly what happened. That now the bishop... Thanks, honey. I don't know if you guys could hear my wife. She's yelling at me to eat lunch and stop streaming if I'm going to go play tennis later. But I know I have time. So this was almost forced, and that's why I don't like this, because now he's forced into a defensive posture just to stay in the game. And why would we do that to ourselves, right? We don't want to do that. So if he gets this bishop out of the way as fast as possible, that might benefit him so that he could then get this bishop out of the way. So yeah, that's why I didn't like that bishop move. It just set this up so that Chris can actually get some momentum. All right, so we'll see. We'll see where he wants to go. I'm thinking he might go there. Oh, and he did. Look at that. Almost the same time. So now he can move the bishop maybe next move. I don't care where it goes. The bishop just needs to find a better home so he's not under attack. And Chris has got to keep fighting, and Chris is finding ways to fight, so I'm happy for Chris. And it's his birthday. All right, I probably will not be able to stay on for the whole game because I've got 4 minutes before I got to go get some food and get ready to go play tennis. So, oh, that's why, Flavio. Gotcha. Yes, you're spending it at work. Okay. Not the greatest way to spend Valentine's Day. Yes, I did ask. I just didn't realize your answer was in reply to how was your Valentine's Day. Sorry. Yeah, no. I'm going to go play tennis for Valentine's Day, but I'm old, and my wife and I have been married for over 35 years now, I think. Yeah. So, we don't do much for Valentine's Day. She's not that romantic. So she doesn't really care about Valentine's Day anyways from a celebration standpoint. I know it sounds sad, right? But it is what it is. But because of that, being that is what it is, I'm not doing anything but maybe going out and playing tennis. So, yes. Home office. Oh, yes. Yes. Much better than being at the store office sleeping on the floor. No, I get you. Yes. I also am doing a home office. I've been working from home ever since COVID really struck here in the U.S. in March of last year. So I'm coming up to 1 full year of working totally remotely from home. So I feel you. I feel you, Flavio. And I'm going to hold you to that, trying to find me a good mini desktop to use for streaming, because that's all I need to be good for is streaming. I'm going to hold you to it. Because, again, I'm not a hardware person. All right, I'm going to probably have to sign off in about 2 minutes. And you guys obviously could keep watching this game on Lichess. TacoBoy, good luck. I know you can't hear me right now, but good luck. I'm going to actually chat him over here. And see if that ever comes through. My computer's slow on the chat uptake also, so we'll see. But guys, please keep watching Ryan, support him, maybe give him some luck, but also Chris, because it's his birthday. Like I said, I don't even know who I would be rooting for mostly. My student at the moment, or Chris, who I feel like is one of my students, because he's been supporting me from the first time he found me. So. All right, so I'm going to be shutting down because time is fleeting, and I'm going to do my raid, and I'm going to push you guys over. Anybody that doesn't want to go, of course, you just don't click the button. If you want to go to the raid, you can. I'm going to push you over to I'm going to double check, but it'll be Anna Rudolph because again, family friendly, educational. Oh, and they're watching PogChamps, which is kind of fun because most of the people playing in PogChamps are beginners, really low beginners. You guys probably would wipe up them. You know, it'd be great. You guys play against PogChamps, you'd win, right? Not that you guys are beginners, but I mean they are. Most of them are under 1,000. None of them are 1,200, I believe. So I'm going to try rating you over to there. And if nothing else, just for the practice of rating. I'm going to close out Discord. So I'm going to say goodbye to Ryan. And then we're going to move over to... all right, game is cleaning up a little bit here. Ryan's up a full piece now. All right, let's see. And I got to remember how to raid. I'm pretty sure I remember. I was taught by the great Chris. All right, we're going to give it a shot and see if that raid works. All right, and have a great day. Oh, good. There's only 3 of you anyway. Yeah, she won't even notice. All right, guys. Feel free not to go and stay here instead. And we'll talk to you later. Have a great one. On Monday, tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, we do our next lesson, and we will be doing on removing the defender. Have a good one.